Okay, it's been a while since we've been working on this Indian. Had a number of crises around here, but they've all been averted. So now we can get back on this thing. So anyway, I was looking through my little reference notebook here of things, looking for patterns to paint on his beads. Okay, take that off there. We don't need that. So I found this one here. I don't know how close Judy can get on that. That's good, just to show them. And then I was looking through here, and I found this one here, which is pretty similar to that last one we just looked at. And then I found this one here, which is also similar to that one. Now I kind of like this one here. I'm going to pick a simple pattern that's easy for anyone following along here can do without much trouble. So it's that one. See, I've already, oh, there it is, sorry, thought I'd lost it. Or that one. That one's a little involved, so. Or this one here. That's an interesting one there. But I like this one here. So, like I say, you know, I don't have access to museums. Well, I mean, I do, but to make sure I get the correct beading strips. I know these artists have done the research, so I'm going to kind of copy from them. Things like this here, this is just not realistic at all, I don't think. It's just too much stuff added on to it. So anyway, we're going to strive for that one right there. So I'm going to take that on my book. Set that aside. Put this one back over here. Off the base. And it's going to be pretty simple. So what we want to do is you want to divide it about right there. And we're not going to be doing the back side, so I'm not worried about that. So we're going to paint this area blue, this area in here, right here, this colored area inside here. Now, the way you have to do it, what is the predominant color in here? Well, the predominant color is going to be red. That's going to show up. You can't paint over that. So what we want to do is we want to paint that area yellow. And then if there's space behind it, which there might be, let's just draw a line here. We'll paint that blue. So this is where our design is going to be right here. Okay? And we're going to paint that yellow ochre. And then, depending on how that looks, we might come back with yellow. Native Americans back during the period I'm painting in didn't have access to the colors that we have nowadays. So most of their colors came from trade, or else they come from natural materials, earth, things like that. So let's see if we can find a blue that closely approximates that. So it's just sort of that looks like it, just about right there. Denim blue jeans. That's the name of the color. Where was it again? Denim blue. If you're going down to Hobby Lobby or someplace, that's what you want to look for if you want to paint that color. So I'm going to squeeze out a little bit of that. And it's not going to work because I haven't used that color for so long. This is what happens. It's what happens with your paints when they sit around, especially water-based paints. Oh, there. Just a big old bunch of goop down here in the bottom. That ought to do it. Put it back together. And we'll squeeze that some. There we go. Should be plenty. Get rid of this before I put my hand in it. And some more paper towels. Okay, find a decent brush. No, I was using one here just a while ago. Might take a couple coats. So I'll go ahead and paint these two blue areas and then we'll come back. Alright, I double coated my blue. Now I'm double coating this area of yellow. Just painting out the cap. When you're doing the bead, you want your paint pretty solid, not watered down any. So the colors really stand out over the other muted colors of the robe, because the beads are glass and they've been it's colored glass, so that's not going to change colors unless they get dirty, which we're not going to let them get dirty. So I'll dry this just a little. And we'll hit it with some yellow. This is just yellow. Yellow. And you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but I can. When you put this yellow on here, it's such a sickly color because it's so transparent. Even putting it on there over the yellow ochre, which should have given it a good base, you're still probably going to have to double coat it. which is what we'll do. And even double coating it, you can still see that it's transparent. Yellow it's just not a color that covers. And someone told me, says, oh, you're using those cheap hobby paints. That's why it's not covering. You should go buy you some of those more expensive craft paints, that Joe Sonia paints, which I did. Right here. Deep yellow, Joe Sonia. It's a good color, but I didn't notice any difference between it and what I'm painting here, so being the cheap person that I am, I'll just go ahead and buy the cheap paints, which have been doing a good job for me for a long time. See the mottled look to it? It's just not good, so I'm going to give it another coat. I'll come back once we get all this done. Okay, I've gone as far as I'm going to go with this yellow. It's still kind of a mottled look there, but if I go any farther, it's going to fill up all the detail. It's already filling up some of it, so I'm just going to go with what I've got. Now, one thing I noticed here, there's only one red line, okay? On this carving, I've divided the beading strips up into 4 groups. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm not going to paint that red line right down that seam. I'm going to make 2 red lines. And the color I'm going to use is red iron oxide. I'm using a liner brush. You can see here, it has a very long tip. And the reason it's like that is so it creates a straight line, and it also absorbs a lot of the movement of your wrist. Stop right there. It's nerve-wracking. Okay, I'm not worried about the ends of those lines because we're going to use black to outline the areas. And I've got a lot of goop down in the bottom of my black paint here. doing this, you want to load that brush up completely. You don't want to just put paint out here on the tip. You want to get that paint all in that. So I'm going to paint right across this division line here. Turn this around, I'm going to run into my choker. There we go, it's looking pretty nice. It's hard enough to do, and then doing it in a video, it's even harder. And I see a correction I gotta make here. Okay. Just work our way up. Paint's kind of setting up, so it takes a little bit of water. Not much. Oh, come on. Damn it. Make this line a little heavier. Let's See how that looks with the Indian's head on here. See, you do all that work, and then you cover it up. Okay. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of work on these two lines here, and then we'll do his eyes, and that'll be it. So once that's dry, we'll come back in a couple hours once the paint's dry and give this a good varnish. Okay? See you back then. Okay, one more thing. Let me just tell you what I did. I went and I painted this area here just with the colors that I used on his beaded strip just to tie everything together. I did my little wooden shell joker piece here. It's just a piece of carved wood, and I just painted it all white, and then used some tan to come in from the edges to give it some shading, and then just put a red dot on it. Okay. So for his eyes, I've decided. Oh, I don't want red eyes. God, terrible. For his eyes, I just decided to put them straight forward. If I put them off to the, looking off to the side, it just wouldn't look right. Let me find the brush here. Small. Much better. Now on eyes, people, I notice a lot in the caricature carvers, they try to paint a doll eye. In other words, it'll be blue with a white spot on it, maybe a black center or a darker blue on the outside edge. You can't see that. If I look at Judy right now, I see black with a black with a white spot, highlight. If she looks at me and she sees the same thing, a dark eye with a white spot, you don't see any of that other detail. So don't put that on your carvings. This is just me speaking for the way I look at things. Because it just doesn't look good, and it detracts from your work. You don't want some detail on your piece overpowering everything else. You want everything, to be equal overall, to where when the person sees it, he sees the whole thing. he doesn't or isn't drawn to something particular like an eyeball. Excuse me. Anyway, that wasn't my chickens, that was my telephone. Wrong number. But anyway, getting back to the eyes. I look at this carving and the first thing I see is the eyes. And look how small and tiny they are. So if they were bigger and they had several different colors making them up, it would have just, you know, it would have ruined, to me it just would have been way too much. Just way, way, way too much. Everything I think is balanced right now. All right? Now I haven't decided whether to paint some kind of pictorial animals or horses or whatever on his robe here yet. I probably will, but I'm not going to do it in this video. This video needs to come to an end. So once this dries, we'll varnish it, and then we'll go ahead and mount it, and it'll be finished, okay? So until then, I'll talk to you later.